What is up, Dallas Cowboys fans? Good morning to you. Welcome into another Dallas Cowboys Daily Blitz podcast right here on FanStream Sports. A new, for today only time. Thanks for rolling with us an hour later than normal. Normally we're on at 7 a.m. Central. It is an 8 o'clock a.m. edition on this Friday as we substitute for exclusive Mike Fisher over here on the Fish Report YouTube channel. I don't know what Mike's got going on. He just texted me last night. He goes, "Hey, I got no show for Friday. Can you go at 8?" I'm like, "Yep, I'll do it for you." As we talk all things Cowboys this offseason. We do welcome your comments in the comment section of the video, whether you're watching on Fish's channel or on our channel or on X or on Facebook. Or if you're listening to the recorded podcast later on Friday or over the weekend or whenever, you can also reach out to us live at 214-937-0569, 214-937-0569. Make sure that is our FanStream Sports Studio text line. Make sure you tell us who you are and where you're texting from, and then what your question or comment is, and we would be happy to make you part of one of the future shows right here. So we've got a juicy one today, kind of, because we have the same trade idea floating around that just will not go away. The deeper we get into the offseason, the more it seems to swirl. And honestly, the more it swirls, the more it makes complete sense. Are the Dallas Cowboys eventually going to land Miami Dolphins star linebacker and former Texas Tech Red Raiders, guns up, Wreckham, Jordyn Brooks? Now, I will say this. The word inevitable is a word that I'm seeing tossed around, and that feels a bit strong for me right now. That's the word being thrown about by a few, but I'm not ready to stamp inevitable on this quite yet, or literally anything Jerry Jones does for that matter. Because if we know anything about the Cowboys, it is that common sense and inevitability do not always walk hand in hand with this thing. But I will say this. The puzzle pieces fit. And if the Cowboys are serious about bouncing back defensively in 2026, and by all accounts, we've been told that they are, this is exactly the kind of move the front office should be exploring. So let's start with the obvious here. The Cowboys know they had a problem on defense last season. There was no hiding from it. The unit ranked dead last, 32nd in the NFL, and one of the biggest holes on the roster was at inside linebacker. And to their credit, the Cowboys did not ignore it. They made the trade for Dee Winters from San Francisco, and they used a third-round pick on promising Michigan linebacker Jaishawn Barham. Jaishawn. I still haven't clarified how to say his damn name, so if I rotate back and forth, my apologies. And those are solid guys. Those are logical picks for the Cowboys, logical moves for the Cowboys to improve the roster. Those are the kind of moves, the kind of guys that you take when you need more speed, when you need more physicality, and more range, honestly, on your defense. But if we're being honest, there is a big difference between patching a hole, which is kind of what those two players might be, and solving the problem. And Jordyn Brooks would solve the problem. I love Dee Winters as a very young player. Local kid. The issue with Dee Winters is he's never played middle. He's never played on the inside. That's not his game necessarily first couple of years in the NFL. Not to say he can't do it. I've just never seen him do it, so I have a question there. Or maybe you don't move him and make him uncomfortable on a new team and a brand new defense. And just let him go do what he does. Marvin Overshone and Dee Winters are the same player. They like to play outside, and they like to run downhill, and they don't like to think. They like to react. And that's how they play their best football. Jordyn Brooks, on the other hand, is this guy. He's done it before. He's coming off a monster 2025 season with the Dolphins. Had a league-high 183 tackles, 3.5 sacks, 13 tackles for loss. He was so good on such a bad Dolphins team that he earned first-team All-Pro honors. Think about that for a second. While the rest of his team was falling apart around him, he was still producing at an elite level. And that tells you everything you need to know about the player. He's productive. He's proven. He's still in his prime at 28 years old. And oh, by the way, also a Texas guy. Dallas native, Houston roots, Texas Tech product. So there's already a natural connection here, if that means anything. I think it does sometimes to certain players. From the Cowboys' perspective, this is the kind of player that you go out and get if you really believe your defense can be turned around. Again, with all due respect to Dee Winters and with all due respect to what we think the upside of Jaishawn Barham is, Jordyn Brooks is the better answer right now. He is the plug-and-play difference maker for this team. He's not a projection. He's not a developmental piece. He's not a let's throw him out there and see what we have guy. He is the guy who walks into your building and immediately upgrades the middle of your defense. So now the key question becomes, as it is with any trade discussion, what would Miami want? And why would they do it, honestly? Because this is kind of where it gets interesting. So the Dolphins are clearly in teardown mode. They're stripping this thing down. They've moved on from other big-name pieces. Tua's gone. Tyreek is gone. Waddle's gone. Chubb is gone. And you kind of feel like this has the feelings of a total reset here. And rightfully so. So if you're Miami, keeping a veteran linebacker entering the final year of his deal when you're not close to competing makes zero sense. Brooks signed a 3-year, $26 million contract in 2024, and now he's heading into the final season. And if the Dolphins are truly rebuilding, which it looks like they are, then you want to use that guy as a trade piece, not a core piece of your future. I know he's young still, but do you want that expensive linebacker, especially if you're going to have to pay him after this year? No, you want to flip that into some draft picks, right, to help you rebuild. That is where the Cowboys come in. The Cowboys already, according to many, many reports, checked in on Brooks before making some of their other linebacker moves, so we know that the interest is there. And if the interest was there then why wouldn't the interest be there now? Especially when you look at what this defense is trying to become. We've heard a ton of buzz about the new look defensive culture with the Cowboys. And one of the big names getting a ton of attention right now is Rashawn Gary. Coaches are praising his veteran work ethic, his dog mentality, and the way he's fitting into Christian Parker's system. And that matters because if Dallas is building a defense around energy, aggression, accountability, then adding a guy like Jordyn Brooks in the middle makes even more sense. He gives you a tone setter. He gives you a grown-ass man linebacker who can diagnose, who can hit, who can finish, who can communicate, and who can lead. That gives you somebody who raises the floor of the entire front seven. So let's talk timing on all of this because this is the part that makes things a little bit tricky. Could it happen before the season starts? Sure, it's possible. Would that be the ideal scenario for the Cowboys? Sure, absolutely. You'd love to get Brooks in camp, get him integrated, get him learning the system, get him building some chemistry, and then give yourself the best chance for him to start fast with this new defense, right? That's the ideal scenario for Dallas. But more realistically, this thing kind of feels like it's something that could happen next season, just before the trade deadline. And that's why I keep using the word eventually. That's why the word eventually is kind of key to all of this. Because if Miami comes out next year and proves what we all know, that it's a bad football team going nowhere, then their motivation to move Brooks just goes up. On the Cowboys side, Dallas has to prove that he's worth the investment. If the Cowboys are in a race, the defense looks improved, but just needs maybe one more major piece, then a midseason swing for Brooks becomes a lot easier to justify. And I think that's where the real window here lies, just from a Miami standpoint. Now, what would it cost? Another big piece like that. You're talking a player of Brooks' caliber. You're probably looking at me, maybe a few 2-pick, something in range, and that's not nothing. You have to ask yourself the second question: are the Cowboys willing to do more than trade for him? Are they willing to extend him? Because if you're going to give up real draft capital for a linebacker in the final year of his deal, you probably want more than a rental player. And that's kind of why this isn't necessarily a slam dunk financially. It makes great. I step back and I look at all of this, I come away to the same place. The Dolphins don't need him. The Cowboys absolutely do. And the move would make us a team, zero question. And that's why the conversation hasn't. Is it sensible? Yeah. Is it logical? Also, yeah. And if the Cowboys are serious about not wasting another season with a defense that's one big piece short, then they should keep that line of communication open to Miami and be ready to make the call when the moment is right. Because do the Cowboys just want to be better on defense, or do they want to fix the defense? Because I think that's the difference between who you have on your roster playing in the middle and going and getting Jordyn Brooks right now. But that's just me. That's just me. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. We'll review those and get back to them. Sure, we'll be talking about Jordyn Brooks quite a bit here this offseason and even into next year. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. We will be back on Monday at our normal time, as far as I know, 7 a.m. Central, 8 o'clock Eastern. For all of you over on the East Coast that partake in our show daily, I appreciate you guys very much. We got a lot of, just so you guys know, Cowboys fans. It's not just Cowboys fans. We've got all the NFC East teams represented with our viewers here and our listeners on the podcast. They're out of Philly, out of New York, out of Washington. Some NFC South fans, for whatever reason, chiming in here over the past few weeks. I've got a podcast in New Orleans that wants to collaborate on something for next season, as the Cowboys will entertain the NFC South teams. So we may be doing some of that. Then, of course, a future collab, as Fish and I keep talking about it, doing one of these things together in the mornings for you guys. We keep talking about it. We just don't nail down the date. Haven't figured that out quite yet, but we will. Can't wait to do it for you guys. That's going to do it for me this morning. I got to go finish waking up. I got to get my coffee. I got to go get some breakfast. By the way, I got a breakfast surprise I might share with you guys. Something I invented. I don't know if I invented it. I'd never made it before, and I've never heard of it. It was really, really good that all the kids enjoyed. I might share that with you guys because it was really easy to do and something different. Maybe we'll get into that next week for you guys. We can share some favorite breakfast recipes as we do this thing in the morning. I am IndyCar Tim. You guys have the weekend that you want to have. And until Monday, we'll see ya.